Respect is being willing to tell people the truth. And I'm not talking about telling everybody that will listen your truth. I'm talking about telling the person you disagree with what you think, what you feel, or why you were hurt if you were hurt. We are all seeing things from our own point of view, and expressing that point of view in a healthy way is not a bad thing. The times that we learn who we really are is when we have a difference of opinion. How do we handle that? Can we listen and respect the other person's right to their opinion? Are we able to really hear what they're saying? Can we really hear what we are all saying? That's what our town hall meetings are about, listening to each other. And can we see behind our own anger or frustration to what's really being expressed? Our vision, originally when we started this, was that by working together in community, painting a room, building a bathroom, creating a conference, we would learn to do that consciously in committee. There's nothing like a committee to bring up people's stuff. Most of you know what I mean. Yes. And a committee may have a leader, but not a boss. That's what works best in the church or a spiritual center. And one way to make decisions in a committee is with majority rules. That's okay, but it can leave some people not feeling heard or feeling left out. Sometimes factions form in a committee that are always voting together, leaving a minority group left out of the decision process. It's just another form of a boss, but with more people. There is a difference between a job and a volunteer organization. Volunteers are not getting paid. They're doing this out of the love of their heart. And some of them really work hard. So there has to be something in the experience that fills their soul, makes them want to keep coming and doing what they're doing. Each member of the committee needs to feel heard, feel valued, and feel like they have some autonomy in the work they do. They don't want to feel like they're just another set of hands and feet for carrying out a leader's vision. So the process that feels the best, to me anyway, is consensus. And that can be sometimes difficult to achieve, because it's not for the faint of heart. This process takes longer and is sometimes frustrating for people. But if everyone in the discussion is willing to actually listen and evaluate all the ideas, the best plans can come out of this process. And there are other things that come out of this process as well. Awareness of our sore spots, of our strengths and weaknesses, of our talents. We get to see inside other people, their strengths, weaknesses, and talents. The ones that stick it out are the winners. Some people leave. But the winners get to learn how to create consensus. And the bigger the project, the bigger the challenges, but also the greater the rewards. Just try putting on a conference. Mm-hmm. Some of you have helped me with that. I had a friend in the Baha'i faith, and she was telling me about how they work. They work without leaders. Each person offers their ideas to the group and then lets go of the ownership of the idea. The group takes the idea, changes it, adds to it, throws it away, or uses it as it is. So instead of fighting for their own ideas to win, the creative process kicks in. They work together to make the best plan, and everybody wins. Many people could look at something or experience something and they would each describe it differently. I don't know, probably most of you heard this, that blindfolded people are exploring an elephant, and everybody is in a different part of the elephant, and he says, oh, it's the tree trunk, it's a rope, it's a whatever, you know, and nobody is wrong. They're all seeing their own piece of the elephant. But instead of, where am I? Okay, yeah. And we each bring our own personality, our experiences, our history, our education, our birth order even to the situation. These things all color the way we experience life. So instead of trying to prove everybody else is wrong, we could try finding ways to accommodate all the viewpoints. And the variety of viewpoints makes us stronger. So when we move beyond our differences, we create intimacy. And that word itself is into me, see. So when I tell you who I am and something deep inside of me, it's personal, you get to see who I really am. If I've got a facade in front of me, you'll never know. You'll never know who I am. Getting up here, it's kind of a little, I'm revealing who I am. So I think even our musicians can appreciate that. Anytime we get triggered by something somebody says to us, it's something inside of us that's coming to be healed. Words really can't hurt us. Even if somebody says something hurtful to us or about us, it's really more about them than it is about us. It's very easy to judge, but the judging has no value. What has value is listening, being willing to actually hear what is underneath the words, what the heart is saying. And when we judge somebody, we are revealing who we are. The strength of our reaction is related to the amount of denial or lack of awareness we have about our own inner working. I grew up on military bases. This means that all the kids I played with were from somewhere else. We didn't have a common history, other than we were from somewhere else. So each time I met someone new, I had to figure out how to have a relationship without the benefit of knowing what the rules were. However, I oftentimes still find myself very confused about what really happened when a situation or relationship blows up in my face. This center mirrors my history. None of us grew up in this community that we call CSL. Maybe one or two. But the result of that is that we all have different core beliefs about how we are to behave. Now, some stuff is universal. Love, peace, trust are the good things, and we can all agree on that. However, how those things show up is different depending on where you come from and what your history has been. I thought that telling the truth was love. Turns out that doesn't always work out so well. Intuitive people tend to get this stuff easier, I think. Even intuition needs some history and experience to work with. You might wonder what all this has to do with spirituality. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. I believe that my experience and my purpose on this physical plane is to learn and grow as a spiritual being. And in order to do that, I have to step out of my comfort zone. So, why are we here? I remember asking that question when I was young. I was told that we were here to help people. My child brain thought, does that mean some people are here just to be helped? Didn't seem to make sense. Because that means that some people have to have a rough life just so that I have a purpose. Anyway, a couple of years ago, I went on a temple tour with, where is she? Oh, she's not here today. With Clara. Yes, anyway. I think she's on Zoom, yeah. Hi, Clara. Yeah. At the Muslim temple in Waverley, they told us that their purpose was to help the poor. One lady was disturbed by that. Does that mean there has to be poor people so you have a purpose? Think about it. So one of our taglines for this place is consciously creating community. What this means to me is that we are creating a safe place to learn and grow individually and as a community. We can come here on a Sunday morning, get a message that makes us feel good, and then go home and promptly forget what we learned the first time somebody disagrees with us. We get angry. What if we flip that around to creating conscious community? We know that our words have power. Conscious means that we are always conscious of our words and actions and how they affect others. It means that we are aware of our own feelings and intuitions. These are all inside things that motivate the outside behaviors. The real spiritual work here starts in the kitchen, working cooperatively with other people, or organizing a banquet, or a band practice. Board meetings are an amazing place to learn how to work in cooperation with others. There's nothing like discussing business to bring up our individual fears and money issues. But having a difference of opinion is not a bad thing. Board meetings are amazing places to learn how to work in cooperation. And all the best ideas come out in an argument sometimes, or let's say a heated discussion. Yeah, the small group reflects the attitudes and beliefs of the larger community. Each person on the committee is the voice of a certain segment of the community. By discussing all the different ideas, the voices of the community are discussed and listened to as a whole. If the process is healthy, the decisions made will better meet the needs of the community, and the individuals that participated in the process get to connect with each other on a different level. So this is a place where we get to grow spiritually by learning to accept others, and in doing so, we get to accept ourselves. We become comfortable with who we are. So when we've done our work, the intimacy, we come to terms with who we are. We can live happier lives. We stop reacting to things that other people say or do. We don't get offended so easily. And we accept others where they are on their spiritual journey. I have a book called Fierce Conversations. And so fierce conversations are synonyms for fierce are robust, intense, strong, powerful, passionate, real. The conversation is the relationship. If we stop talking, the relationship fails. We each have our own history, belief, points of views, and goals. We bring all that into every conversation. If the goal of the conversation is to win or to get our own way, we all lose. So I'm a design engineer, electronics, control systems, and sometimes we had to work in teams. And this process was so invigorating. All the different ideas would be put on the table, and we discussed the merits and the problems with each idea. And sometimes it would get really heated. But the goal was the best product, and so the best ideas rose to the surface. And when you finish and you see the finished product and it goes into production and everybody's happy with it and they're buying it like crazy, that's success. We have to be conscious of what other people's requirements are, their needs, their emotions. So, the Center for Spiritual Living, where that comes from, this is living from the inside out. This is remembering that we are primarily spiritual beings having a human experience. Remembering that we are all connected through spirit. And when we look at others through the eyes of spirit, it changes everything. I found this wonderful reading. She wanted peace, so she played beautiful music, painted beautiful expressions. It was not enough. She went on long walks, gave away possessions, smiled more, stopped multitasking. Not enough. She bought more reverent clothing, read more books, spoke spiritual words. Not enough. She changed her relationships, attended classes, cut her hair, improved her diet, attended worship, found a new job, traveled, came back. All of it, not enough. Then one day, she looked inside herself, the place she had run from all her life. She found two truths: the concentrated ego of suffering and fear, and the simmering ember of peace. Realizing that peace was a seed already inside her, she decided to try something new. She decided to love more, herself, others, all things, in every moment. She opened. The ocean inside came out. The ocean outside came in. She dissolved in two oceans, became immeasurable lightness. She found peace. Love is the sunlight that awakens the seed of peace. And I think I'll stop there before my voice gives out completely. But the thing is, everything that we experience in life, we experience through our own eyes, and everybody experiences that differently. And one of the purposes for starting this church was so that we could grow together as a community. And when we bump up against somebody else, the ego when we're trying to accomplish something, whether we're working in the kitchen or cleaning windows, that's where we get to find out who we really are and what our issues are. So that's why we like the building here, because we get to do things together, and rather than just having a church in a box, which is what we used to call it when we went into a theater or something and set up, and then packed it all up afterwards. So anyway, so anytime you have a disagreement with people, just remember, we're all God, having a human experience. And namaste.